Hi everybody, it's Sam here. Thank you for watching today. So I was sent this amazing book by my friend Susan, and it prompted me to just get back into making gift bags again. It's not that I don't make them anymore, and I have shared a couple over the last few months, but I've just kind of really got into my card making, which I love, and that isn't stopping. If anything, I'm going to try and add an extra video each week. So when she sent me this book, it's basically filled with different bags over the centuries. It's just such a lovely little book, and it's just inspired me to work through this book and turn these bags into papercraft versions. So I put a little marker against the one that I'm making today, so I will open it up, and this is what I've recreated, and I'll bring in my version here. So it's an accordion box or bag, and this is what I've made here. So you bring down the front there, or you can put it on the back. I'll explain all that inside, but you see it opens and then it drops down, and it's just a really fun style. It reminds me of the trinket accordion box I done. I'll link it up here. It has this same function on the side, so if you like this kind of movement, it was more of a desktop kind of little storage box, and I put all my brads and stuff in it. I made that maybe 3 or 4 years ago, so check that out because you might really like it. It's just really fun. It's all reinforced. It's very strong, and I talk through all different kind of alternatives through the video, and it just closes nicely there. You can see the bottom of it as well. But this is where I'm going to be going with this book, and then I'll put a little marker next to the one that I've done, and then I'm going to now pick the next one for the next video, and I'm just going to create a playlist of unusual handbags. Well, I've got a handbag playlist actually, so I'll add it to that as well. The papers that I've used for this one are from the Bloom and Wonder. It's a first edition pad. It's not too old, but it was from last year, I believe, and I just loved that animal print. But I think it would look great in like faux leather and just darker colours as well, so to go for that more designer look. You can add toppers on the top and your gift tag, you know, and this will work for many occasions. So I hope you enjoy this series that I'm going to be bringing. It is just going to keep rolling because, as you can see, this book is, you know, it's chunky. There's a lot in here, and there's just so much inspiration. It took me a while to decide to do this one first. So enough of me talking. That's just an intro to this series. Follow the playlist if you're joining this video, you know, some months later, because by that point there will be many in there for you to make and feel inspired by. So enough of me rambling on. Let me show you how to make this really lovely gift bag. Okay, so first of all, you're going to want to cut yourself 3 pieces of 8.5 by 8. This is a 220 GSM. By the time I add the pattern paper on top, it will, you know, add a lot of strength to it. Along the 8.5 side, you want to score it 3.5 and 5. And then along the 8-inch side, you want to score it 1.5 and 6.5. Okay, so do that on all 3 pieces. I'll also give you the measurements for the mats and layers whilst we're here. So we're going to fold. I'll just quickly fold these here so you can understand the mats and layers. So there's the front and the back, say, for each of these. So this is a piece of 3.25 by 4 3/4. And you'll see they go on each side. So you'll want 6 pieces of this. You'll also want 6 pieces of 1.25 by 3.25, and that's to go on the sides. Okay, so you can get them cut as well. And I've also made myself a template so you know where to cut your, you know, your holes on the sides here. And this is a piece of 1.5 by 3.5. So if you just get a piece of white card, and then I'll show you how to make those holes. So next we just want to fold and burnish those score lines on all 3 pieces. Okay, and then you want to cut along the side where you've got this square in the middle. You just want to cut up the score lines either side, like so, and then rotate it, and again cut up both of those, and then just take a little wedge off of the sides there, just on that square piece. Okay, next you want to get your little template here, and you want to find the center, which will be 3/4 of an inch. Oh, if I just lay this here, so just pop your ruler, and I can see 3/4 of an inch there. If you want to draw a pencil line down through the middle, you can. And then you want to put a little marker at 3/4 of an inch down, and then at 1 inch between those two. So probably easier if I say, so you want to mark at 3/4 of an inch, 1 3/4, and then 2 3/4. And you'll see that bottom is 3/4 of an inch up as well. So we've just got it equally spaced down that center, and I've just punched a hole there. I'm using my Crocodile, and I'm using the smaller 1/8 of an inch. You could do the larger if you want, but that's what I've used there. So I've just then gone through and cut that, but you can also punch it with a normal size, you know, a normal hole punch. Now you can, if you've got the Crocodile, you can cut the first two when the box is together, but I'm aware not everybody's going to have that. So what I would suggest you do is lay your template down and just mark with a pencil or a pen your holes there. You'll have to do it on all four because you need to cut obviously all of them, and then they'll line up when you put it together. So the sides are reinforced because you're sticking 2 pieces over the top, so the sides are strong. We're going to put pattern paper on the bottom as well, so that will make it stronger, and you can also reinforce inside if you wanted to. But now you've got your holes where you need them. So I'm going to cut mine now with my Crocodile. And I just thought you need to stick your pattern paper down on one of the sides. So I'm going to go on this side here and just get them stuck down, and then I'll just go over with my little template there. Okay, so I've stuck them down. Again, you'll do this on all 3 pieces exactly the same way. And now I'm just going to punch my holes. Okay, now what I would also suggest is, because when that tab goes up inside, it's going to cover the holes here, and you need to punch through that as well. So if you lay it down and line it all up, so, and actually I can see the top one's fine, I can see right through that, but that one's a little bit off, and so is that one. So I've just marked there with a pen. Now if I open it up, I'm just going to go back over that one there, and that one there. And then let's put that back on again. You just want to make sure that you can see through all of your pieces. So now I've just marked, so I've got my pen mark there, so I can just pop that one in. And that one's just a little bit off. There we go. So now when I put this all together, I can see through all my holes. So again, with this one, I'm just going to lay that over. So it might be easy just to do one with your stencil and then just do this process afterwards, because I'm having to redo the holes again because I seem to be slightly out. But anyway, you get the idea. Like so, and then let's just go back over that one again. You're not going to see any of this anyway, so I'm not worried. And again, there we go. I'll probably actually, I've got quite a few of the scraps of the pattern paper, so I'll just put them inside so you won't see any of the holes. But again, now when I put that together, I can see them all there. And it's not too messy inside anyway, but I will now put some pattern paper in there as well. So you'll want to cut these sizes again. So I do another 6, so you'll need 12 in total. But again, all the quantities and everything will be in my blog. But that's only just going to strengthen the bag even more, which is a good thing. So before I stick it together, I'm just going to stick these 2 down as well. Okay, so next what you want to do is add some glue to the tab here, and then you're going to bring that one under the one that you've not put the pattern paper on, like so. And again, do the same on the opposite end. Okay, and then you want to pop your glue all down these 2 sides, and then just wrap those around. Okay, so I'm now going to get pattern paper for the inside cut, and you'll just want to do that again on the other 2 pieces. Okay, so I have stuck the pattern paper inside, but you will have to go back over your holes, and obviously the Crocodile that I've got will not let me go all the way down. So you may have something, even when I take the foot off, you know, you might have something though that will allow you to go right down to the edge. but you can see there I can't quite. So what I will do is use a pokey tool, do this one here because I think it's dry, and just pierce through the paper there at the bottom. Once the brad's in there, you're not going to see anything, and it still looks nice and neat inside. Okay, so next we're going to put it all together. So you want to cut yourself 6 pieces of 1/2 inch by 4 1/8, and I've stuck 3 together. I've already attached this one on one side here because I just wanted to check it all worked. Stick all 3 together and you'll have 2 pieces. Like I said, I've already got one on that side. This is for the other side. And you then want to hole punch. You want to come down, or you want to come in, sorry, 1/4 inch. So you can see that the middle of that circle is bang on 1/4 inch. So just come in each end there, and then the center of this piece, which is just over 2. Could probably come up a little bit there, but it'd be fine. You may need to shift it a little bit, but it will all make sense once you start putting it together. But you want to have a piece like this. So then with this long one, it's going to go across 3 of the holes there. You can see once we line everything up, there we go. But you want to make sure that whatever way you do this side, it's the same on that side. So I'm actually going to do, so I want to start down the bottom here and then go across like so. What I would suggest is if you pop a brad through the middle one first. So now when I move them all, make sure the base is nice and flush. And I can see that one lines up perfectly, so I'm going to get that one in place. I might need to just move this one. If you lay it down flat, it'd be much easier. I know you can't see here, but I'm just going to pop a little mark there just so I can see. So the hole's actually a little bit higher. I think they're all going to vary, to be honest. You're not going to notice any of this. You may need to shift some of them a little bit. But look, it all gets hidden, so I wouldn't worry. And then I can pop that one in there. Once we've got the other ones in, that's going to hold it in place. But can you see now? So next you can move it up like this, and you get that really cool effect. So you can't see that I just punched. In fact, which side was it? Yeah, you can't even see. So don't worry if you do have to move them a little bit. Okay, so that's that effect. So next you want to cut yourself 3, 6, 9, 12 pieces that are 1/2 inch by 2 1/4. And again, come down 1/4 inch and punch at either end. I've already done this end. You can see where I've popped them there. So what I would do is pop a brad in the top one here and the bottom one, because those are just false ones. They're just purely decorative. And then you've got those 4 holes left, and you just want to follow the same direction of that longer piece. So again, I'm going to pop my brads through and just open those all up. Okay, so when you've got it all in place, you should have something like that, and then it will move like this. Isn't that really cool? It's got a really nice movement to it. It's just a bit of fun. I just thought, when I saw that version, I thought, yeah, I've got to do this one. Okay, so I'm going to do the lid slightly differently, purely because that image and that bag is leather, and it's got hardware, proper metal in it, and it's obviously very, very strong, and it has the weight of the lid and the magnetic clasp and all that kind of stuff. So what I've got here is, this is just over the width of the box here. So the box is 5. I've done 5 1/8, and it's just 12 inches length. You're going to trim this in a minute, but it was just easier for me to work it out this way. So I've already put a score line at 1/2 inch there, and then what I've done is just pop that around that side, making sure it overhangs, and then just pinching. I always prefer doing it this way, then adding a score line on here first and then attaching it, because I always find it, you then have like a little bit of a gap. So I'm going to lay it down in my scoreboard here and just find a track that line. It's like 5 1/16 of an inch. I'm just going to move that across and just score that there. So I've just pulled it out a little bit, but now if I just fold and burnish that, you'll see there, it's just such a nice, it really hugs the box. if I just bring it up to the side, you see how nicely that wraps around there. It's then up to you how much you want to come down. So I reckon, because I'm just going to add Velcro to this, I think I'm going to do 1.5. So this whole piece is going to be, it's 6.5 by 5 1/8. Okay. I've then just got my corner punch, and I'm going to pop a nice layer of pattern paper on the top and everything else. But I think that, again, if I just bring it up, I think that's going to work really nice. Of course, if you want to add magnets to this, then you would want to put them underneath this pattern paper. So I'm just going to run my glue down that tab and sit this over. Make sure you've got an equal amount overhanging. It will literally be a tiny little piece, just a slither overhanging, but it was just by going a little bit wider, it just ensured that everything, you know, is hidden. In fact, it's probably easier if you do it this way. There we go, and you can really see. And I'll just trim off just a little bit there on the back of that tab. Okay, so that's stuck down. Then I've cut this piece here to go on the top. So because that's 5 1/8, I've cut this piece to 4 7/8 by, it's just over 4 1/4. But you'll see now that sits in there perfectly. And then I've cut this piece here to go on the front, and I'm probably going to do the same in here. So again, it just makes it a really strong piece. So you may want to do 2 of them, but you might also want to have a nice sentiment, like, or surprise or something like that on the inside. So, but it's 1 1/8 by the same again, so 4 7/8. So I'm going to stick those 2 down there. Okay, so you'll see now they're all stuck down. So whilst they're drying, I've got my handle. So I've got here a piece of 1 1/4 by 12. And I've scored at 5/8 of an inch just through the middle there. And I'm just going to fold and burnish that. And this will just make this very strong. And I'm thinking I'm going to attach it. I'm going to put a hole punch at the end, and it's going to go through this here. Now you could attach it, stick it inside this piece here, but you would have to have this top piece exactly that 5-inch width here and not the 5 1/8. But I like that completely covers it, because if you do it exactly the same height, what you'll find you'll get little gaps like this. I just think having that tiny little bit overhanging each side just gives it a much nicer finish. You might also want to put your handle on here if you've got a strong enough fastening. Like I said, I'm using Velcro, but you might have magnets or something. And if you're not putting anything too heavy in there, you could have, you know, some kind of let me just grab a piece of scrap. You know, this is a poor example, but can you imagine, you know, a little kind of vanity handle, you know, if this was a little vanity case or something. So you could do something like that if you wanted. But I'm going to do this. So I've just folded it in half, and then I'm going to stick that together again with my glue. But I'm going to shape this as the glue's drying. And that way, when the glue's set, it will stay in a nice kind of arch shape. So just get it kind of tacked in place to start. And then with your bone tool, just start to pop a curve in there. If you do it as that glue's drying, you'll get a nice smooth finish. If you leave it so the glue's dried and you go to do this, what you'll find, you'll probably get cracking. But you'll see now we've got a lovely shaped handle, and that's going to be so strong. It almost looks a little bit like a picnic basket again. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to punch the same hole in the middle, about 1/4 inch up, like so. You might want to put eyelets, you might want to reinforce this. You could put little you know, reinforce it with more cardstock, little circles or something if you wanted to. But again, it's going to be like jewelry and kind of a little, you know, chocolate bar and gift cards and stuff like that. So it's not going to be anything, I don't think, for me anyway, of a huge weight. So I've just opened up the pins, and I'm going to take that out and then go in from the outside. I mean, try it on the inside, but I just think you're going to end up just messing up your cardstock a little bit. So I'm just taking it out there and just feeding it through like so. Yeah, I think that works. and it will fold back that way, which is what you need it to do. I think that looks good. Okay, next I've got my hook and loop. I've got the large, these are by Dot and Dab, and they're so sticky. So they are very strong. These are 3/4 of an inch, or I think they're 20 mil. I need to get some more of these, or I might have a pack that's fallen down the back of my drawer. I'm just going to pop those together and then pop a pair there, and then a pair there. You get them in black as well. They might do other colours, I'm not sure. I've only ever had the black and the white. And then just line up the lid and let that just kind of grab. And then it should, it's that sticky, it should just stick either side. But if you find it's lifting, because until you apply pressure, you might have to prise them apart. But I just find popping a pokey tool in between means they still stay in place. But now you can really push down the adhesive there on both sides. So I just cut that other size and I'm just popping that in there, so that will just help support any pressure when you open and close it with the Velcro, like so. And then I'd also cut these 3 strips here for the bottom, just again add more strength. And if you want to reinforce it inside as well, it all is dependent on what you're going to pop inside your you know, your gift bag here. But these are 1 1/4 by 4 3/4, so I'm just going to stick those down. Okay, so that is the finished gift bag. I think it looks brilliant. I'm not going to decorate it any further. Once I know who I'm giving this to, I'll pop a topper on there with happy birthday on it, maybe even Christmas. I might have some orange Christmas trees on it or something. But with the handle, I've just tried it. When you push it back that way, it all opens fine and it does drop down, but it puts a little bit of tension here. So you might want to, you know, you may decide you're going to do yours differently. But if it is brought forward and then opened, it's fine. You've got, you know, ample space for the mechanisms to all work and stuff. But it's just a bit of fun. It works really, really well. And again, put a nice little surprise message there. And, you know, have, like I said, gift cards in here. They would make nice table favours as well. Maybe you're doing like a small party or something, you know. There's so much scope for this. And again, the handle just moves around. If anything, I'd maybe make the handle a bit longer. Just double it up a bit. But there you have it. So I'll bring that in. Let me bring back in the inspiration. So like I said at the beginning, this is the Accordion, or it just talks about accordion bags. And they were popular in the late 40s and early 50s. But you can see, like I said, that one has the piece coming up from the bottom. You could easily do that, you know, if you want to change that, by all means do so. But I think my my take on it has come together really well. And again, if I just pull that down, you can see how that one looks with this one. I don't think they're too dissimilar. And I'd love to see some people make it, you know, in black and use maybe like a mock croc embossing folder and have that real kind of designer look. I think it would look lovely for, you know, any young children, you know, late teens, really into their fashion and stuff. I think this would look awesome. So I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial today. As always, everything I've used will be shared in the description box below. And I hope you enjoy this series and all of the bags that I'll be sharing in the future. And if you've enjoyed today's tutorial, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time I upload a new tutorial. And there should be a couple of other gift bag tutorials popping up now that you might want to watch next. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll be back again very soon. Bye.